So as we look here, we have these pillars. These pillars are always markers for mines. Sometimes they'll be for normal mines, and sometimes they'll be for spawners. I think in this case, this one may have just been a normal mine, but we'll go and explore it quickly. Yeah, this one was just a normal mine. So all of these always lead to a cave, and originally I was the only player on this map. I then decided to bring some people in, and this was how I always came out of my caves. The majority of the time. So as we start heading over here, you can start to see the building to the left, which is the farm. There was multiple things that happened in this area. This area had a lot of development over its time. And what happened was in this section, in this stone section, I think it was, there was one of our friends. But because we moved everything across so much, what we decided to do is mark where he was and give him a grave. Because he didn't come on very often. But what happened in the end was that we just generally didn't end up having him on there here. And he just forever was there. I never finished the development in this area to change everything to dirt because this area wasn't used for very much. So in the farm, it's your average farm. You had your one water source in each corner that led from the top. But like the rest of this area, it was never fully developed. So we only got carrot layers, and that was about it. So as we head up here, this is the underground entrance. Initially, it was a small building that was just covering this centerpiece. But I decided to extend it and expand it onto the main buildings, which were over here, which we'll look in a bit. This will then lead all the way down to our little subway station, which is all the way down here. Very long way down. This leads off into the bases. We'll get to the other bases soon, but we have the base on the right, which is the one of my old friend's bases. You then have the one up here, which is more or less cut off because they didn't want a minecart track up to theirs, and then this way to my base. But if we head back up this way and come up here, let's see if I remember what floor it's on. It's not this one. It's here. So we have KFC. We made our own KFC here. It's where the staff counter is. So you'd obviously queue up here. Those iron doors that used to be on either side. And then over here is the chicken maker 2000, but I forgot a zero when writing the sign. We'd had hoppers under here that would capture the eggs and put it into a double chest here. But as we can see, the place has been left in ruins. So with it being left in ruins, there's nothing left. There's another entrance to the caves down that way. And if we go into here, this is the staff area. This is what the staff area is. VIP area. You would do a little bit of sniff over here. And there is also then a pole here. There was a pole here. That has been moved into the museum, which we'll see later. So if we now come back this way, head straight outside. There was originally the Kfc Banners, but they are also in the museum, which you'll see later. This is the shoreline sitting area where you can just chill and sit in here and watch the water go by. There is then the lake, the little waterfall that I made. And then if we continue up this way, we've got a nice woodland path that then leads into one of the old the old places, which this is not my place. You had their farms here, I can't remember what was in each farm, because it was a long time ago, but we had the farms here. Not much left. Had his cocoa farm, his unlimited water source. And then if we go this way, and go into here, what was here originally was a fall. There was a fall that went all the way down here via redstone. This button here would normally open the door, because this was pistoned. And if he had a lever activated on this wall, the trap would be active and you would just fall all the way down. He had hoppers down there to collect the people's stuff, which was obviously a thing to stop people coming in his house. And then if we continue this way, there's a few chests, a few bits left. And then in here, there would have been a painting. A large painting that would then lead into his enchantment room. This is where his enchantment room was. So he would have his enchantment table in here, his books would be in the chest here, and the bookshelves would be all over the walls. You would then have... I used to come and visit him quite a lot, so he let me do this. There's his mines down there. But this is my little bunker room, where I would hide and call my bedroom as a joke, and then I would hide in the corner if I thought he was going to find me. Some of these blocks are missing because they are in the museum. So this was his Nether Portal. His Nether Portal was obviously quite big. He doesn't have it active anymore, obviously, because he isn't here. But he had a redstone signal attached with a fire source, which would then automatically light it for him. You then have, in this direction, where his dogs were. His dogs obviously are not here. I can't remember what happened to his dogs. But they were all here. They were all named after battleships from the war. He then had his fish tank, which I used to hide in and swim around in as a joke, and it was quite good. This was his bedroom. This is the back exit to his base, which leads onto a snowy mountain, but that didn't really lead anywhere. And then he's got a little water area. All the wars, Meatloaf, he had a lot of references to them. There is one of the dogs actually in the new area, but you won't see the new area yet. There is the Minecart Track. The Minecart Track, nope. There is the stables where he used to keep all of his horses. And this was then a back exit out of his base, which then led into a back alleyway, which then led back into his house. Through this way. If we then head up to the top over here and drop back down, this is the path where we originally came off of. Instead of going left, we'll now go right. And I will show you the house that was built here. This was very fresh towards the end, so there is nothing in these houses. They have just been built. There's the first room, and then up here's the second room. Nothing really had anything in it, and that was about it. What we did at the time is we thought it'd be funny to have a prison in the map. So this was a gulag, specifically for the two lads, which was built. So you had all their prison cells, and he had his storage area here. Everything was locked up at the time, and this was actually his bedroom here. At the time, we actually trapped him in here for a good 10-15 minutes before he noticed what was going on, and that was about it for that. It was a very good time coming down here, because what we did, I don't know whether there's any evidence of this. Down here, we set up a redstone trap, where it was set up to tons and tons of doors. And when they came in here, they didn't know where they was looking, or what they was looking for. So at the time, it turned out that he was just getting annoyed and annoyed and annoyed. And then we finally had to give up the jig because he threatened to leave. And at that point, we were like, no, don't leave. So that's it for this base. Now we shall head to mine. I made all the paths, all the ice paths, because it was quicker travel. And we didn't want to set minecarts up everywhere. There was minecarts eventually set up everywhere, but I took them down. So all of this land around here, this bit around here, this bit, and this bit, I all manually did. I manually did all of it over the time that we was here. The walls took very long to do, as well as the floors. And in here, we obviously then have the bamboo forest. What I was going to do eventually, I did have the resources, but I didn't finish it. I was going to have this glass come up all over the top as a dome, but I didn't end up doing it. This is where we had our animals running around in here. There was mobs running around in here, but none could ever reach the base because it was so big. We then come into here, and we go this way. Thank you, Meatloaf. Here was the original base of the map. It's no longer here. I removed it when I started to build the walls. Here was a tree. You've got a picture of a giant jungle tree that had about 4 layers on it. You had a bedroom layer on the bottom. You would then climb up and you'd have 3 farm layers. You'd have a potato layer, a carrot layer, and then on the top a pumpkin and melon layer, which would then all lead to the top. But with that version of Minecraft, with obviously newer versions of Minecraft, there was snow at the top elevations, so it didn't work very well as it is. This is the hot tub that was made. It wasn't very functional at the time because you couldn't swim properly, and it was very buggy. You started to swim and you would kind of just drown in the block. This is where the fishing hole is. This is where the big old fishing hole is, where you'd come and get your fishing done. That's why there's kelp down there, to try and attract things. This is where the mob drop was. It took about 4 times to try and actually change the mob drop. But the mob drop didn't actually work. They didn't actually work. In the older versions of Minecraft, you obviously couldn't swim. So this was just a long one where you chose to either push your way out or you just gave up and died. This was at the time of no swimming, so it took very long to get out of it if you decided to. This is also another mine. So that is it for the outside of the base. So if we now go down here. Yes, fishing Charlie. This part of the base originally existed up to that wall, which this Nether Portal was the original Nether Portal. This leads up to my railway station piece, which goes all the way down there. Is that a dog? And then you would come into here and you would see loads of stuff scattered. You'd have a jail cell there. I did put someone in there. And tons of buttons for inconspicuousness and everything else. This used to be hidden. It used to be a 2x2 redstone door, as per see the redstone sign and the space where the redstones went. It would normally be activated by a button, and then in the inside it had a lever in the center. I think it was up here. That would let you open or close the door by yourself. You'd then go into here, and this was where else the redstone was at the door. This is where the super smelter was. So the super smelter you'll see later, the super smelter V2, and this is the water elevator that comes from each floor, which I'll show the floors in a moment. There's also a ravine which was here that obviously caused problems when you didn't want to die, but it was all covered in glass. But to give it a more broken effect when we left, and to make sure nobody stole anything, just if there was any tatters anywhere, we broke the glass so that no one could get in. This was a redstone exit that was hidden by the 4 dirt blocks, and you would go out. There's still a little bit of the redstone here for that. I didn't delete all of it, it's here. And that was used for a fairly long time before it stopped being used. That just leads outside of the walls. So we now go into the main building area. And we have got multiple sections. This was just a small 9x9 room which was undeveloped, because I never actually got anywhere with it. Not yet. So we've got the enchantment area, which was in here. This is where the enchantment table was set up. It was set up on this block with all the bookshelves around it. As you can see by the stone, that's where it was placed. You then had, I think there was 2 chests in each corner for books. You then came over to this area. This is where the anvils were placed, which at that point it was just anvils. And then this is where the potions would be created. And all of the rooms are connected via this water elevator. So there's 1 floor here, which is the next one we'll go to. This is the bedroom. This is the middle one. This is where my bed was. I had an ender chest under there, and I had an armor stand on top of that. What we had in this situation was a minecart track. The minecart track is over 2,000 blocks long one way and 2,000 blocks the other way. It took about a week to build, and as we didn't want to be followed because we moved to a new part of the map, I went out of my way to make sure this dropped all the way to bedrock, so that if anybody tried to follow us, they would not have the chance, because they would not have seen it the way that the iron door was placed before. This goes all the way through oceans, all the way through coral, all the way through mountains, all the way through swamps. This was the longest running tunnel that I ever made, and the longest project that took me on Minecraft ever, as it was a long running one which we built through oceans. We built through oceans. We then also built through like the actual water itself. So all the bits of cobblestone you see here are all just parts of the ocean that kept on flooding into the tunnel. Everything that we used, everything that we made, was not 100% curated properly. The survival is 100% survival. This is just a copy put in creative. But we'll go on more about that in a little bit when we get to the new base. What the plan is today is I plan to reopen the map. Not to the public, but for streams. And it is in hope that while showing you the lore, it then opens your understanding to where the map came from and how the map worked. So that we then don't have an issue where people are asking where the map came from. Because this map is very old, and I've just recently ported it from PlayStation. So that's the first set of coordinates done. I do have a map of what this railway looks like, which I'll show you when we get to the final destination. The map is pretty hefty. I think I ran all 3 axes to make a triangle, if I remember correctly. But how does what work, Shani? Oh, okay, fair enough. So, once we get to the end of here, you will see the next base that was made by one of the guys. They moved sections when the new update came out, and they wanted to be left alone in their base. So all I asked them was, from their new base, am I able to bridge to my new one, so that we can both be in the new section for the new update? This was when I can't remember what update it was actually. It was it must have been the Nether update. Not the Nether update, the second part of the second part of the it would be the second part of the it would be the Nether update, but I think so. Now we are here. This is his base. We'll have a quick look here, but I wasn't here long enough to actually explain how he built it and what his mind processes were. So he obviously had his Nether Portal here, which was worked into the mountain pretty nicely. And then under the water was his enchantment area, which obviously was used. I think the dogs are here actually. So the dogs of the battleship names are all here. So there was a lot of them. He had... I can't see them. There we go. So you have Hood, Belfast. You then have Kaga, Akagi, and Magi. There was more than that, but I don't know where the rest are, unless they're upstairs. There they are. Then you've got Hornet, Yorktown, Enterprise, and that is all of the dogs to date. You can have puppers. And then if we go back into the subway tunnel and continue this way, this is where my new base leads into it. No, it isn't. That's the wrong way. I think. No, it isn't. Oh, sorry for that noise. This one's a lot more windy than the others because I got fed up with trying to make them straight. So at this point, I literally just dug mainly in multiple directions still. The new area isn't as big, but it's big enough for what it needs to be. So we've got a whole area. As you can see from here, we've got the lava beacon to show you where you are. And then what we have here is the beach. We have an inside beach, which I created. So you go in, we can have a look over the top, and then we'll go and look in the inside. So you've got the inside beach, got the inside pool with the inside beach. And then if we then make our way in here, this was supposed to be a bar. This bit in here was supposed to be a bar, but there wasn't enough room to actually create it, as it wasn't going to fit very well. But now I see how it would fit very well. And this took a very long time to do. If I remember rightly, I was building this on stream for YouTube, I think. Yeah, it must have been a YouTube stream. And I was watching Soul do his Bioshock analytic streams while I was doing it. And it was mighty fun. I even watched Soul back then. You then have view of the farms, view of the stables. Everything around here was lit up. So there's paths everywhere in this area. There's massive walls, obviously, so that we can keep all the nasties out. Then make our way over here. All the horses with all the armour on. We've then got a massive sugarcane farm area that then leads into the base. We'll go in there in a moment, because I'll show you the museum and each piece of it. We have here the new farm. The new farm was a lot easier to do than the old farm. So with the new update, we'd have a conduit here, so it would be an easy go up and go down without having to worry how long you was under the water, because you can infinitely breathe. What we needed to do is make sure you came out on a torch block. Those plots were split half and half, so half of it was potatoes and half of it was carrots when it was used for farming. So you come in, this is the main area, this is the waiting room, you then come in again, and this is your storage area, so you just put all of your stuff in the chest as you come in. Here you've got your seating area, sit here and watch some TV. I wonder what's on today. You then walk into the kitchen, and in here is the fridge. This is what I've called the fridge. You step on the pressure plate and it will automatically give you food. But I'm not going to do that because I don't need food. This is the master bedroom. This is where I sleep. In the massive heart-shaped bed, because bougie. You then got the pillar for the building, one of the many pillars. We'll look into the roof in a moment. This is the guest bed, which is very deadly because you spawn in a wooden block. You then come into here, and this is where the museum starts. We have the dragon head, the dragon egg, the elytra, the shulker cell, the infinite dying, and all the bells I stole from villages. Because I collected bells, and the bells are all over KFC. So here's the Kfc Banners that were originally there. The disc isn't in there, but Cat would be in there. At one point when me and one of my friends found loads and loads of, well, didn't find, we procured loads and loads of diamonds. We made the game of hide and seek, basically. Oh no, I deleted it. That was a pity diamond, which people found. And they'll obviously give them pity diamonds if they couldn't find any actual diamonds. This is a token. One of the guys built for you if you found a token, but the token would still mean you'd have to pay. There is the English flag that was messed up, and then the other England flag that was messed up. There's the flag, there's the pole from KFC. Here is the map. So here is how the map works. This whole top section to this whole bottom section is where the Minecart Track is. And it ends up here. That is how big the map is. This is the other dog, Warspite. And this is what would happen if you got a free token. You would see Reese for a free redstone build or just a building and put what you want in the book. Which the free token is over here. But obviously they're not valid anymore. This is Reese's armor and Reese's banner that I saved. And these are broken items. So this is from my room in Reese's place. And those are my banners off my original place. This is my original set of iron armor. That's another Reese banner. That's the whole set of chain armor except from the helmet. Now let's go downstairs. This is the Super Smelter Mark II. So you'd obviously put the things so that you can smelt stuff. Obviously there's nothing in there right now, as it's not been used very much. But it has 6 furnaces and basically unlimited fuel. It is currently still burning stuff, which it's burnt a lot of stuff up. But it will basically run forever and you'll be able to get unlimited XP from it, with the way that the Minecraft works nowadays. You've then got the tube tunnel that leads into the pipe out of the base. This is all created by me, for me, and by me. This is all outside the pipe. Which is nice. So that's done. And we go back in. And we walk through the pipe. This basically is the sewer system of the base. Or if you like to call it the exhaust pipe, because I suppose there isn't any water coming in from it. You've then got in this section all of the storage. We have a lot of things here, which I won't go into now. You'll see them in a bit later. But there is a lot of items here. The storage room took a little while to procure because I didn't know how much stuff I was going to bring with me when I moved from the other base. We then come into here. We've then got our blacksmith section with our anvils, our smithing table, and our stone cutter. We've then got our cartography tables, our target blocks, the ender chest, and the full enchantment table at level 30. I then decided to make the Nether Portal have a ring of lava around it to give it a bit more of an effect. But when you go in here, you then go into the stone area. Once you head into the stone area and go in here, you then meet the piglins. This is where I created the piglin trade center, because you can be safe in that section while not being attacked. Currently there's obviously nothing in there because I haven't done any trading recently, but this is completely enclosed from the rest of the nether, just so that you are completely safe when doing said trading. So if I now go back in, come back out in the base. That is basically it for this map. It's all caught up. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything they want to ask me? Anything that they want to know about the game? About the map, sorry.